ever felt like you were the only one trying to do the right thing in a world that has gone completely off the rails? Today, we're diving into one of the most epic stories ever told. A story about faith, obedience, and a fresh start for humanity. It's the story of Noah and the Great Flood. Our story begins in Genesis chapter 6. The world had become a pretty dark place. As the Bible says in Genesis 6 verses 5 to 7, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. It's a heavy start, right? The world was so corrupt that God's heart was broken. But amidst all this darkness, there was one glimmer of hope. Verse 8 tells us, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So who was this Noah? Genesis 6 verse 9 describes him as a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. In a world full of noise and chaos, Noah chose to listen to a different voice. He chose to walk with God, and God had a very, very big job for him. God told Noah his plan to send a flood to cleanse the earth, but he also gave Noah a way to save himself, his family, and the animal kingdom. The instructions are laid out in Genesis 6, verses 14 to 16. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high. Put a door in the side of the ark, and make lower, middle, and upper decks. Can you imagine getting these instructions? It wasn't just a simple boat. It was a massive 3-story vessel. The task was enormous, probably seeming impossible. But what did Noah do? Verse 22 gives us the answer. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. He didn't question. He didn't complain. He just obeyed. Now we move to Genesis chapter 7. The ark is built. Picture this massive structure sitting on dry land, miles from any large body of water. People probably thought Noah was crazy. They likely mocked him day in and day out for years. But Noah kept his faith. The time had finally come. God gave the final command in Genesis 7, verses 1 to 4. Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. So, the grand procession began. 2 by 2, and in 7s, the animals came to the ark. It must have been an incredible sight. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, Ham, and Japheth, their wives, all entered the ark. Then, the Bible says in Genesis 7 verse 16, something profound happened. Then the Lord shut him in. God himself sealed the door. For 7 days, they waited inside the ark. And then it began. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and rain fell on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. That's from Genesis 7, verses 11 and 12. This wasn't just a heavy rainstorm. Water came from above and below. The water level rose relentlessly, lifting the ark high above the ground. Genesis 7 verse 19 says, the waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. Only Noah and those with him in the ark were left. For 150 days, the water covered the earth. Imagine being inside that ark, tossed around on the endless water with the sounds of the storm outside. It must have been terrifying, yet also a place of ultimate safety, because they were exactly where God wanted them to be. Let's turn to Genesis chapter 8. After 150 days, the waters finally began to recede. Verse 1 says, but God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, but they couldn't get out just yet. They had to wait. Patience is a huge part of the story. After 40 days, Noah sent out a raven and then a dove. The first time, the dove came back because there was no place to land. A week later, he sent it out again. And this time, as described in Genesis 8, verse 11, the dove returned with a freshly plucked olive leaf in its beak. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. What a moment of hope that must have been. Finally, after sending the dove out one more time and it not returning, Noah knew it was safe. God then spoke to Noah in Genesis 8, verses 15 and 16. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives." They had been in the ark for over a year. Can you imagine that first breath of fresh air? Seeing the clean, new world. The first thing Noah did was build an altar. Genesis 8, verse 20 tells us. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. His first act was one of worship and gratitude. This act pleased God, who made a promise in his heart, as stated in Genesis 8, verse 21. Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. This leads us to Genesis chapter 9, the final chapter of our story today. God blesses Noah and his sons, giving them a command similar to the one he gave Adam and Eve. Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. But this chimney, there's a new dynamic between humans and animals. And then God establishes a covenant, a sacred promise. Not just with Noah, but with all of humanity and every living creature for all generations to come. In Genesis 9, verses 11 to 13, God declares, "I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth." So every time we see a rainbow, it's not just a beautiful natural phenomenon. It's a divine reminder, a reminder of God's faithfulness, his mercy, and his promise to never again destroy the world with a flood. The story of Noah is more than just a tale about a big boat and a lot of animals. It's a powerful story about the consequences of sin, but also about the incredible grace of God. It shows us that even when the world is at its worst, faith and obedience matter. Noah's decision to walk with God in a wicked world saved humanity. It's a testament to the fact that one person committed to doing what's right can make a world of difference. And that rainbow, it's a promise that no matter how dark the storms of life get, there is always hope, always a promise of a new beginning. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through Noah's story. If you found this inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into timeless stories. See you in the next video.